Hello fellow adventurers and collectors, Filmaholic here. Today we're going to be looking at Master Chief by Wicked Cool Toys. Now this figure is part of their Spartan collection, which is their 6-inch scale line that's supposed to span across all the video games that they have been released. So, like everything that's been coming out during the Corona situation, everything's been hard to find, but I've actually found this one on my first Target run, so I was fortunate enough to come across him. And from what I've heard and what the rumor is that this Master Chief is pack 3 per case, whereas everyone else is only 1. So if you're going to find one figure from the line, it's most likely going to be this one. Now, as you can see, we're looking over the box now, and I don't know what it is, but it seems like everyone has stepped up their game in terms of box art and box design. These are very accessible and easily to display if you're that kind of collector. And looking on the back of the box, they kind of have this Photoshop job to show the figures that are part of the line. Like I said before, you can see that it's supposed to span across all the various games instead of just Halo Infinite. Now included in the box, you get a whole bunch of hands, and a part of me wishes that we had a little bit better selection of hands, and we'll get to that in a little bit later. Also included in the box is, of course, the new assault rifle from Halo Infinite. And to be honest with you, I never really recognized the difference between Halo 4 and Halo 5 weaponry, but c'est la vie. Alright, so now we look over the action figure itself, and to me personally, the sculpting is all there. This is the most accurate looking Master Chief that I have in my collection, and to be honest with you, it's very reminiscent of the old Joyride figures, which I do appreciate. It's almost a blend between Joyride, McFarlane, and even Mattel to some extent, but it kind of takes the best attributes from those lines and actually blends them together to make something else completely new. Now, something I did notice, and since this is like a subsidiary of Jazzware, you can kind of notice a similar paint scheme between the two, because if you look at the Master Chief, he has this little pearlescent paint that's sprayed across him to give him battle wear. And I noticed that on this Leviathan, and he of course falls over, but regardless, you can see that they have this similar overspray that kind of gives them that metallic look. Now, when it comes to posability, this figure is actually pretty damn good, except for one area that really kind of bugs me. But aside from that, something that has been a common theme amongst these figures is loose joints. And for me, everything is tight except for that right arm. Not sure what it is, but the tolerance isn't there. And I'm assuming, based off of everyone's reviews, Wicked Cool Toys has been made aware of this problem, and hopefully they come around to fixing it, because aside from the loose joints and the limited articulation in the torso, there really isn't any problems that I have with the figure personally, aside from the hand selection. Now, of course, you have the traditional storage that you can have on these figures. You know, they actually went a different route when it comes to the pistol, and they made it swappable on the leg piece, so you're able to switch that out. So you can either decide if you don't want the pistol there or just the leg armor. Something I did notice was that the pistol grip was a bit wider than the handstand, so it's going to stretch out those fingers, so you got to be a little bit careful with that. I mean, also something to note is that the arm, the bicep armor rather, has a hard time getting across to get that aiming down sights pose, but you could fudge it a little bit later, like I do later on. Now, like I mentioned before, I wish there was a better hand selection in terms of I wish there was a better C grip, so you could get that really good grasp on the end of the rifle or something like that. Now, to give you a sense of scale, here he is next to the Jazzware's Jonesy figure from Fortnite. So in the Halo canon, the Spartans are supposed to be huge, so it makes sense that in a 6-inch scale line, that the Master Chief actually towers over all the other 6-inch figures. Now here he is compared to a Marcus Phoenix by Storm Collectibles. Now this doesn't really necessarily make sense, but you gotta have the two Microsoft boys next to each other. So over the years, I unfortunately got rid of a lot of my Halo figures, but here we have a McFarlane Halo 1 Master Chief, as well as a Play Arts Kai Halo 2 Master Chief. So as you can see, these newer figures actually make a blend between the various lines. Then, to me, I think that's the best route they could have gone, you know. And they included some of the best attributes, like for example, the chrome visor from Joyride. You know, that's something a lot of companies overlooked, and I'm glad they actually brought it in here. So despite all the problems that I have with this figure and the little engineering problems that I think are going to get worked out throughout the line, I think this is a great figure to have if you come across it. Not only is it a great representation of Master Chief, but it's also sold at a price point that a lot of people can get into. And for me personally, it's just nice to see a company go out of its way to hit all those, marks, whether it's articulation, scale, or just overall care for the character, So I definitely will be hunting down the rest of these 6-inch scale figures. So thank you all for watching, and until next time, I'll see you around.